Hello everybody, welcome to the GRS Season 3 finale. As any existing viewers would have seen, we're going to be at Brazil for the final round of this 12 round calendar. So far we have seen champion crowned in all three tiers for the drivers. Most recently, Anson Wong got crowned champion in F2 after an exciting twist, or a couple of twists I should say. I won't spoil anything for anyone who hasn't watched it, but Anson, he was the last one of the three to become champion. We now have three drivers champions, and upon saying I'm not going to spoil anything yesterday, I realise I sort of have. Tough. Anyway, F3 saw Lucas Rudd become champion at Mexico, I believe. And I also saw Ian Bilbas in F1 crowned champion in Hungary. So we have our drivers standings, drivers champions already. What we're waiting for now is to see who will take the Constructors' Trophy at the end of this Grand Prix. It's the sprint weekend, so plenty of points up for grabs. Williams versus Ferrari to take the Constructors' Championship, I think. Is it? Actually, hang on a minute. Have I overstepped? I've overstepped. I have not looked at the updated standings. Silly me. Silly me. Williams are champions. 64-point lead. There's no way for Ferrari to claw it back. I forgot that there was the open lap carnage in F1. It's been immaculate all season long, and things happened last week, so pardon me for that one. Pardon me for most things. If you're tuning in now, you realise that the useless guy on comms for F1, he's not the most competent person by himself. I need someone with a cattle prong or a taser just to get me in the neck every time I make a mistake. We are currently just waiting on any remaining drivers to join the lobby. We've got 15 so far. I'd imagine the hurry up will be issued promptly. Don't worry, Ian, I'm not going to forget. I've held on all week, trying my best to remember, and I have remembered, and it will pull through. Right. Yeah, it seems like a couple of people are having issues joining our lobby at the moment, so we've got a couple more people to join. Lovely. We do love a broken game. I think this might be the busiest Brazil grid we've seen. It's been a bit lackluster across the other tiers. Not even scraping 15 drivers. I think we're going to have 16 in this one. For the short quali, people might join throughout. I don't know what's going on with that. And then a 12 lap sprint followed by a 36 lap feature race to round the season off. So I'm just looking at the standings to see if there's anything exciting. Luke could jump Johnny in the Drivers' Championship. They're only 18 points apart after Johnny DNF'd last time out in Mexico. Other than that, I think it's really just going to be Haas versus McLaren in the Constructors' fight. They're only 12 points apart. If we really care further down the list, we've got Mercedes and Aston Martin fighting for P5. They're 10 points apart. I think for the most part we will focus on P3 Constructors, Luke versus Johnny. I don't think there's going to be team orders this race. I think Luke, as long as he can manage his battery and keep up, will just try everything he can to steal P2 away from his teammate, who's held it since, I believe, the second race of the season. So that will be an interesting one to see, as we've got everyone in the lobby now and they are readying up. So I'm going to, as a professional streamer, and I didn't forget at all during a red flag proceeding last week. Go on to here. Boom. Look at that. Professional. They don't just hire morons, they don't even hire people. They just they just pick the ones who volunteer. Which isn't many, as you can tell by me being on my own and Luke basically being on his own this week. Oh, what fun it is. We haven't really seen much in the way of interesting weather, and Brazil can be quite prone to a downpour, so I'm hoping there is at least one lot of rain to keep me entertained for this this session. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed indeed. Oi, oi, oi. Who are we waiting on? Quite a few people. So we've got F2 runner-up Rodgwell in the lobby, I can see. I thought it was him who disconnected there, but it's Zabelski who's been yoinked out of the session for some reason. Thankfully he's a Steam user. You can join off at the lobby host, which I believe is Luke. But yeah, unfortunately, Rodgwell runner-up. F2 was a very good fight for the whole season. He was leading the championship at points as well. Didn't quite transpire, but in any case, alright, if we're minus Zabelski, we're going to have 17 drivers. That'd be quite nice. So who have we got then? Any, I say new faces, any non-F1 drivers. Got Cameron Doll, I haven't seen too much of him. Lovely stuff. And he's coming out of the pits on command, that's beautiful. Mitch Snape, he will. If he's not out already halfway around the track. There he is. Lovely stuff. He's not first out though, so clearly remembered his tyre pressures, I'd like to think. So yeah, Cameron Don out first. Someone else. It's a Williams. It's Luke. Here it is. There's Zabelski got ego dumped. Love it. Good. So Mitch is racing already. I think it's Iron. I think Iron will want to just get near the front. I'm going to remember. Don't you worry, buddy. Iron is the lead Ferrari out on track. His teammate's just coming out. Okay. Talking to myself. I don't want to forget. After being told not to forget. But anyway, let's hop on board with Cameron Don. Looks like a very nice dry qualifying session. No real threat of rain. See what Cameron can do to start us off in the Mercedes. Taking the usual wide line here just to get the extra bit of top end speed. Braking just at where the barrier ends down to 4th. Quite nicely over that second curb here. Track not rubbered in too much, you can't absolutely floor it yet. Takes a tight exit line-ish. Down the second DRS straight into Lewis Hamilton's least favourite corner on the track. Through this little windy section here onto the very, very skinny, let's call it a back straight. Downshifting to 6, early shift to 7, doesn't want to lose the car. You can't quite push it flat through there. If you might be able to if you're good at the game, but I can't. Kind of double apex as this left-hander. Sector 2 is where all the time will be made and lost throughout the lap. Taking it quite nicely so far. Can go flat through here, Cameron, just not quite wanting to jeopardise a bank of time at the moment. Taking the tight line all the way to the line, I'd imagine. Hugging the pit triangle here. Trying not to scrape the wall. Starts us off on a 108 flat, which is pretty swift. Luke does a 108.7. What's Iron got? Nothing. So it seems he's invalidated and will probably not be going for anything else. Mitchell a 109.4. Congratulations on that invalidating. Hugo might be on an out lap. I don't know. Should be Johnny next to the line. What's he got up his sleeves? A 107.6. There's your answer. Got Red Bull next. It's Will Coates. He is pushing with the battery, so we'll see what he can do. Definitely Well, it might not be the quickest time. It's a 108.7. It's not too bad at all. It's Lucas Rudd to the line next. F3 champion. That's a 108.8. That's not actually too bad at all. Past the line. 10.7 for a banker, I'm assuming. Got a Haas that's also just crossed the line as well. McLaren coming to the line. It's a Belski, I'm assuming again, starting a lap. This is what we wanted to see. Iron celebrating his championship win in style with some victory donuts. I think he did this at Mexico and I forgot it on the stream, which is why he was screaming at me not to forget. And of course, honouring that request as much as I can. GG's. Here's your GRS F1 champion, taking the load off and celebrating nicely. However, it would be quite funny if these tyres get carried through to the race. I don't believe they do in a sprint weekend, but yeah. That was nice to watch anyway. Anyone on a lap currently? Coates is either on an in-lap or just harvesting. It's a harvest lap. Going back to him. It's George Parr next to the line in the Aston Martin. What's it going to be for him? 8.6. Anson Sabelski coming across lines. A 108.1. Just barely missed that one there. Grass on an outlap, so he will be coming back to Pukkinen is going back into the pit lane, so no set time for him. We've got a slow Alpine. I think it's Lucas Rudd. Might have had a moment. I don't think he's had time to pit and get out on a fresh set of boots, so this might be a used tyre run here. How's he taking the start? Cautiously, if I had to say. She gets turned to very nicely in terms of not going over track limits. We'll leave him to it. Come back to him. I think Anson. I think we must have people in front of Anson. Who's the other McLaren? Habelski's on a cooldown. Grad. That's who I was looking for. I knew there was someone. Double outlapping it by the looks of things. So hopefully he doesn't get in the way of Anson. It's got a few seconds up the road. 51.8 middle sector's not bad by Anson here. Let's see what he can do. It's gone purple, but he hasn't set a lap time yet, and you know what this game's like. Quite wide, shouldn't really lose any time though. Coming up to the line. 8.5 from the F2 Champione, lovely stuff. I think Roswell's just starting a lap behind. Is this Mitch? Starting a lap? Alright. Got to go on board with Mitch for a bit, just in case he spins it here, because that'd be really funny. Thought about it. Come on, this time. That's him getting out of the way for Roswell there. We've got a Williams on track. There's Johnny. He's on an outlap though. Luke isn't. Sample with Luke then. Definitely time to find. 108.7, while it's not much of a slow time. He's done it! Oh, he's backed out. One or the other. It's the other front wing. Come back to him. As he's crawling. Mitch is like a 10-second gap. You're fine. I feel like I'm missing car report with half these camera angles. Jeez. Mitch is going. Front wing. No, it's invalidated. Fair enough. Well. Luke. Very nicely. Gliding through the middle sector. He's 3 tenths up on his best at the moment, so if he nails the exit here, he's at least good for an 8.4. Just about. Or an 8.5 dead. We will see. As he comes up to the line now, it is going to be an 8.4. Lovely stuff. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Is Johnny pushing? No, he's not. He's backed out. I did see a yellow flag, so I wanted to check. It's iron on a lap, that's the question. No, he's starting. Anyone that I can catch at the moment. Belski's on an outlap. Hugo's on an outlap. Mitch is invalidated again. It's a special skill, that is. Liam's on a lap. Haven't seen anything with Liam yet, so we'll stay on board for a bit. Going a bit whoa, he's actually gone quite wide through there, but I mean, you know, it's going to be a time on the board regardless, so we can just keep it valid. so I don't think it'll be too fast. I think a lot of Sector 2 is just letting the car do the work and not getting on the power too early, because then you lose that turning that you want. So Hugo's actually retired. Oh dear. So I wanted to go on board with Cameron to see what's gone on, but Cameron has nearly retired himself. Right, it was Liam. Well, Liam's coming up to the line now. It's going to be in the 8 somewhere. It's an 8.5. Not bad at all. Attempt number 3 for Mitch, or has he improved? No way he's pushing, right? No, he's backed out. Well, he's not got the battery on, but he's looking pretty racy. Right. Iron's starting a lap on low battery, so he's backed out somewhere in his previous attempt. See what he can do. He's a 1:14.5 on the board at the moment. But with the championship one and done and no chance of the constructors, he might just want to start from the back. You never know. His teammates retired. I'm hoping, for the sake of effort values, that was on track rather than in the pits. Iron so far really just dancing the car through Sector 2. It's been nice to watch, maximising track width. It's so hard for that braking point to hit that apex of the corner. You don't really lose too much if you don't. As Coates' internet has struck. Iron with a purple middle sector is going to lose at least a couple attempts with the loss of battery here, so there will be time to find for him regardless. He's now out, crawling to the line. Still an 8.1. It's P4 for now. Dear, still pretty good. Luke's outlapping the middle sector. Cameron's a 10th up. I'll stay on board with him as he's going through the middle sector now. So I just realised we've got no Quill today. Unreal. See what the Sector 2 split time is. That'll be the teller. It's been quite tidy from Cameron, it has to be said. Yeah, he's gained the best part of another 10th as well. Purple middle sector. Did look nice. Now he's just got to absolutely fly it. Excuse me. Fly to the line. There we go, nice. 107.7 from Cameron Don. Iron's out of fuel. Putting everyone through. Guards on an outlap. Who's the hell out of Luke and Johnny? I think Luke is. Go on, Luke. You're in P9, mate. You really... Wow, yeah. Absolutely mounting every single curb. A bit narrow on the entry here, though. But... yeah, I mean, pretty good. He really is maximising track width, and I say that and then he doesn't do it. Yeah, it's been a tidy middle sector from Luke so far, on the looks of things. And yeah, he's 3.5 tenths up for it, so tidy would be the key word. Can he get into the 7s? Exit looked fine, but you can't really gain any time in Sector 3. As long as you get the exit. There's a 108 dead. So P5 provisionally for him. He's got 3 attempts to find to get up to P4. How's his teammate looking? Purple middle sector. 2.5 attempts up. It's going to be a 7.3 something here. I don't have the balls to hook that little inside curb on the left. And it's the final declared corner. It's a 7.3 from Johnny. It's absolutely rapid. Mitch, are you on a lap? No. P15 not bad. Well, considering there's a high chance that I missed Gerard across the line. He's done a 7.4. Fair play. I do apologise. Trying to find out who I was on board with before I started waffling about Mitch. Considering there's a high chance of Vanov retired in the pits, Mitch, you're P15 out of 15 people who've actually tried. I have to say, this doesn't look good. I shouldn't laugh. Oh. Problem solving skills are coming out. Who needs a front wing? Who needs the rest of it? This is glorious, has to be said. That's passed the time quite nicely. We got anyone on the push lap? Nope. Nope. Iron's on the net lap. Bar's on the net lap. Mitch's on a spin lap. Lucas. Cool down. Red Bull. Coates. Out lap. Second out lap. I guess. Iron it is! I tried, everyone. These people will be gearing up for their final runs. There's 3.5 minutes left on the clock. What can Iron do? He's got 8 tenths to find to Johnny. 8.5 tenths. That's a huge gap. Let's see what we can do. Turns 1, 2 and 3. Very nice. But it looks like his other ones were. He's 200ths up. Otherwise, I just don't know what a good Brazil lap looks like. We will see. Really hooking that inside curve up quite nicely. Luke's minimum speed might have been a little bit better, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm qualified. Iron, a bit wide again through this right-hander here. His setup might be geared more towards top-end speed. Found a couple attempts in Sector 2 though. Exit looks good. So I think regardless, this will definitely put Iron up a place, maybe 2. She doesn't seem too pointy in a straight. Maybe 2, okay, never mind, that's where the time was. As he's done a 7.5. I was expecting, okay, he'll jump Mills and maybe Cameron. Nah. Nah. Hanson's about to start a lap. Who have we got currently on one? Is the question. Liam's now starting. Mitch isn't. I don't think he'll have enough time to get back out again if he pits either. Anyone? Luke's starting. I mean, everyone's just going to be starting. Will! 8-2. Goes up to P8. Lovely. Or stays P8. He hasn't actually gone up any places, but here we go. There's a Mercedes. It's not Grad, it's Cameron. Starting a lap. Grad probably doing a second out lap here. Oh, he's starting! Good. We'll catch up. Kabelski starting. No, when it puts a car in Sector 3, it stops saying if they're on an out lap or not. Johnny, are you pushing? No, you're starting. Luke, are you pushing? Yes, you are! Ha ha! There's probably someone else. It's Liam. Spent the best part of 2 minutes looking for a car to watch. Right, Liam then Luke. See what Liam can do. Currently down in P12 provisionally, but he hasn't got to find too much time to climb a couple of places. And he's found a hell of a lot of time and he's climbed like 5, so fair enough. Luke! Have you found time? 3.5 tenths says he has. 7.6. That's P4 for Luke. He won't get another lap in. At least not competitive one. George Barr. Oh. Iron. I want to say he did more donuts, just in case. What the hell's happened there? Unless he wanted to start from the back. This whole time. Maybe. I mean, that 14-1 banker or whatever it was that he did was uncharacteristic. Did I see someone spin? No, it was my imagination. Okay. So, Grad is now actually on a lap. Roger well ahead of him, also on a lap. No, he's not on a lap. Am I stupid? Don't answer that. Not the easiest answer you could possibly give. Rodgwell's on a lap. I've tried hunting people down. Oh, hey, Johnny. I saw that. He was doing some donuts too. Yep, okay, yeah, they wanted to start from the back. Yes, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Cameras are validated. Hook and then there you are. No improvements there. Rodgwell. 4.5 tenths up. Make that 5.5 tenths up. Goes to P number 6. Position 6. 2 places ahead of his championship compatriot from F2. Come on, Mitch, do some donuts. Do some intended donuts. I like poking Mitch about spinning because I spin all the time. Hey! Yes! Yes, I caught it! Yes! Oh, I'm so glad. I thought he was pitting, so I didn't watch. And then 10 seconds later, he's still there. Anson does the victory donuts too. I hope Lucas did some. But then, if you did, I've missed it, and I would actually feel quite bad. Lucas, if you want to spin in the race and then just carry it on for about 20 seconds, be my guest. But that is now everyone done for qualifying once Anson parks up. Phew. Phew. Well, that's a qualifying session. 3 drivers. Oh no, I say 3 drivers, not putting a time in. 1 driver, 2 drivers decided. It's actually more fun to start from the back when everything's already over. Beautiful. Right, just a quick grid rundown. Wait. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. I was like, someone beat Grad, but then they disqualified themselves. Right, so the new grid order. Grad and Luke Mills on the front row. Lovely second quickest lap from Grad, getting pole position. You don't say that every day, so I thought I would. And you got Pukkinen, Cameron, and Liam, all with some letters in front of their names. And you got Rodgwell at P6, Sabelski and Anson, McLaren 4th row, Coates and Parr making out your 5th. Then you got Rudd, Nilsson, and Snape, the last 2. Put a valid time in and then not disqualify afterwards. Ivanov didn't set a time, so he's P14, and you've got Johnny and Ian on the back row. I can't wait to see them slice through the grid. Righty-ho, sprint time. Oh, I was waiting for it this whole time, just to sneeze. It's hot. Fuck, shit. I forgot that Anson's from Japan. Got 5 red lights, and it's go for the sprint. I'm going to sneeze. I don't quite know what it is. Anyway, Grog gets a good start off the line. Pukkinen's challenging Luke for P2. I'm trying to. Oh, hello. What have we got going on at the back? I spent the whole time trying to catch it. Anyway, let's get the menus up and stuff properly. The front wing stuff. No, we're not. We're doing that later. It was Johnny. And almost Rodgwell. Something has happened. There it is. Right, cool. Oh, this is professional. So, once again, commentary in the mud. What's happening? Alright, okay, cool. And we're back in the room. This was about as botched as it could be, and I'm glad the race start was just as botched as my sneezes. Oh my god, I'm all bunged up. Anyway, eyes are watering, runny nose. We continue. Oh, I've got a sneeze in my beard, it's lovely. Anyway, so there was a Pukkinen Hugo incident, I think, at turn 1. Both cars thankfully undamaged by the looks of things. Rodgwell and Johnny. Guys, it's a... How? How have you done that? Let me catch up first, come on. So Liam with no front wing, as well as Habelski and Snape getting together, makes me think that okay, Mitch tried bombing it on the restart. From what I've seen in the comments, that's my interpretation. Anyway, Anson and Rodgwell both in the pits. Ugh, my. Sorry, I'm nasally. Let's get the menus up and everything. Who? Iron's up 9 places. Of course he is. There are a few soft runners. The softs aren't necessarily too bad. You have to run such low pressures around Brazil that the wear can get quite intense. So temps around here, especially in Sector 2, are dreadful. We don't care about lap data. Yeah, we do. No, I hate it. We don't care about it. So, Grad and Luke are 60 million miles ahead of the rest of the field. Got Iron going for a move on Lucas. Lucas semi having a look down the inside, and Iron on be giving him the space. It's a champion respecting champion manoeuvre right there. Anything else going on at the moment? My commentary's in the mud. There's a big gap where everyone were together. I saw a space and around the outside, and then he got turned in on. If it hadn't quite gone green yet, Mitch, it's not the most surprising thing to hear that someone was turning a different way. So they might have been tyre warming. I didn't really see the incident, but yeah, it can be a bit of a risque move. I know what you're trying to do. Iron up to B6, putting Power under all sorts of pressure on the harder compound of tyre as well. So George maybe not utilising the softs as much as he might be hoping for, as Iron is just... he's going to mug him. As there is wheel-to-wheel contact between the two drivers. Thankfully no harm done as Iron completes the move on George. I think George will just let that one happen. Coates is on the back of Cameron Dunn. Coates was on the back of Cameron Dunn. I'm so good at cursing people. But he is going to lose out to Iron and George. So within the space of 3 and a bit laps, Iron's gone from back of the grid to P4 already. That's pretty damn impressive. I know there's been carnage and everything, but to stay out of it, as well as just cut through the field as effectively as he has been, pretty good. I mean, he's still got 60% battery. Cameron in front's got less. I don't think he's been making too many moves. I don't think he's had to. But he is massively losing touch to the cars in front. Not due to tyre temps or anything, as George Power is... unfortunately, he's lost the car. Tyres are a little bit warm, but probably mainly from the spin. Puts him under pressure from Hugo and Ivanov, who's climbed up quite nicely from P14. A couple more places to go and he will score points for Ferrari. It's not been the most point scoring season from the Ferrari driver, but nonetheless, as it is quite often with league racing, never say die. Season's not over yet, and you can definitely start yourself over, get yourself on the front foot for next season. Speaking of which, if you haven't already, signed up. Come on, lads. I've missed Iron get Cameron. That would have been on the DRS back straight. I was rambling. There's Ivanov and Nielsen going side by side through the very, very, very skilly straight. Hugo holding the inside line, however, will be able to maintain position for now. Okay. Hugo left the space. Ivanov half sent it up the inside here. He's got Lucas challenging Pukkanen here. Or Pakkanen challenging... Pukkanen, not Häkkinen, challenging Lucas. They're both from Finland. Who's this? Liam. What's going on with Liam? Something's happened with him. He's not having the most enjoyable race so far in the sprint, as he is a lap down now. Rather unfortunate. So his race has been riddled with issues by the looks of things. Ivanov on the charge, on the chase. Mitch has left the session. Oh, right, I see. He's yeah, I forgot he wasn't racing. Okay, my god. There's just about enough space given on the inside. but because of the slim amount of room there was to work with. Oh, there was more contact. Yeah, there's been a bit of contact between these two drivers. That one definitely the worst one. Ivanov kind of pushing Hugo off the track. He was also... I don't know. We'll see. Pukkinen managing to get Coates on that DRS second straight. I did miss it, but I didn't ignore it. Luke deploying quite heavily to save Grad here. Grad hasn't used any. I thought Grad might have been on about 70. Nope, none. And Luke, consequently, with no battery left, I don't think is ever actually going to be able to challenge now. As from what I can tell, and from what it has been for the entire game, DRS isn't as powerful as it probably should be, and ERS is a bit too powerful for what it is. Could be wrong, but that's just my interpretation of it. So I have spoken away from the pack behind, really solidifying the P3 prospects, as he has gotten past Cameron as well. I'm missing everything now, I'm so bad at this. Mitch, you've gone down a position because Hebelski's car slid further off the wall than yours did. That's it. Plain physics for that one. As it's nice to see Liam letting everyone through as he can. So you have to respect the blue flags, even if you are ghosted. So it's off-putting. There are performance losses throughout corners following a ghosted car. If I was Liam, I might have tried to give Pukkinen DRS there, to be sneaky with it. But he's managed to maintain position, but yeah, he's not really. He might close the Cameron. I haven't really been paying attention to the overall pace, and the Cameron's definitely fallen off the back of the front lot, but he's still P4. Carl sideways, you could have been killed. Nice. But you weren't. I think if I'm Luke in this position, I would just try and harvest a bit. I know he doesn't know what percentage Grad's on, but he'll know he's on more because Grad hasn't been below 10% at all. But yeah, if I was Luke, just try and harvest a bit. Just use the tyres to your advantage and get as much out of them as you can, and just save 20-30% for the last lap or two and just see if you can dump it on him. But he's just not doing that. He's completely out of battery before braking. And yeah, I think Grad's got this one in the bag for the sprint. And I'm just now seeing if anyone is close enough to make a move. Doesn't really look like it. Liam into the pits and he's retired from the sprint. Understandably, he wasn't going to gain any positions unless someone DNF'd. Ivanov quite close to par here. I think par's softs are beyond their best, and the crossover is happening if it hasn't already. Ivanov getting the move done before braking puts him up into P8, getting that final point from the sprint, as Rogerwell unfortunately has... He's at a bit of a spin. Right. Is Luke dumping the battery again? He is. I understand. He might just be doing it to stick with DRS at this point. I'm not entirely sure. Rogerwell's retired in the pits as well. I mean, fair enough. Best part of a lap down. Wasn't really going to gain anything. Liam's DNF'd Haas is still there. Par's had an incident, or he's just letting Hugo through. One or the other, but Hugo isn't going to improve again unless there is a crash or a spin. As Pukkinen put the moves on Cameron, just saw the very end of it. Moves up to P4. What about Lucas Rudd on Will Coates? Anything happening here? Doesn't look like it. Coates' internet for the most part seeming pretty good, as Anson's also retired in the pits again. You know, best part of a lap down. It's just a case of let the people behind do it first, and you've got the freedom to. It looks pretty cloudy, but I mean, absolutely no chance of weather affecting this sprint because we've only got 2 laps left. No one close enough to do anything. Luke trying all he can. But I think it is just a case of sticking with Grad at this point. Grad has started to use, but it's probably because there's only 2 laps left. Iron setting the fastest lap for what it's worth. It's not going to do anything in the sprint, but yeah. Iron's got the fastest lap. Rudd and Coates going side by side. And the majority of Rudd's car was in front. I think he probably just cleared the Red Bull at that point. Will did have a little look at the insider too to see if there was anything gained, and you got the hard shoulder from Lucas there. Thankfully, nothing horrible happening. Lucas is managing to stay ahead and has managed to get that position off the Red Bull. F3 driver on F1 driver. You love to see it. Good old F3. Good old Lucas. The champion of champions. I think he must love sprint weekends. He's not much of a qualifier, as he said before, but he's a very good racer. I think one racer looking for revenge will be Coates, but it's not going to be close enough. We're on the final lap now. Parr and Nilsson driving side by side. May as well just go side by side the whole lap, lads, to be fair. Hugo is basically off track. Is he going to challenge? Ish, but not really. So I think Hugo will get DRS here for the returned favour on Parr. Just look at the extra speed he's getting out of that exit now that the softs have died. Hugo back up to P9. This isn't for points, it's just for fun and grid position. George does have more battery though. Why did the track surface look wet there? Was that just me? Alright, anyway. Grad's coming to the line now, absolutely dumping the battery for the sprint race victory. Luke getting P2. 7 more points over his teammate actually as well. That brings the gap down to 11. It's very good for Luke actually. He would have preferred P1 though. That might be why he was trying to push so much to bring the gap down to 10 points. Winning the fastest lap, Johnny would only have to be P3, and that would be P2 for Luke. Everyone else crossed the line in the positions that they did. I didn't even see if Parr re-overtook Hugo's iron. Driver of the day for the sprint. Wow. I mean, yeah, he was. Basically last a third. It's pretty good. It's only like 7 seconds off the lead as well. Can we get a race director? No. Your offer for race director has been rejected. And it's going to stay here now, isn't it? Good. Well, yeah, I mean, as I said, the cars finished in the positions that they did. that's all you're getting, I'm afraid. I hate this game with a burning passion. It's actually unreal. Like, how is this not fixed? It's a fixable issue. It's client based. I'm the only one who pressed on it. It's not like I'm waiting for anyone else on the grid to press on it. What a yoke. Well, I may as well take the time to watch Mitch's safety car of VSC restart POV. Return to racing speed. Alright, VSC had ended and literally everyone had just got pushed off track. What was that? I don't understand that at all. Jesus. So Mitch didn't even actually go for anything dodgy, just timed the VSC restart the best. Other cars, it literally seemed like the further back you were, the better VSC restart you got. Everyone basically trying to occupy the same space by virtue of a car sweeping them off the track. Love it. Yay! 36 laps. Mitch, if you're watching the stream, you can join me when you DNF on that one. Just saying. It's gonna happen. It will happen. I hope it doesn't. Bit overcast conditions here in Sao Paulo as we've got 5 red lights, and for the final time this season it's go for F1, go for GRS Season 3 actually, as Iron has got an absolute launch off the start, a serious launch off the start, as he's trying to challenge Grad for P1 here. Grad honouring him with the space on the inside here as we've got a spinner at the back. That's Hugo Nilsson. Some cars absolutely everywhere. There's a spin from Mitch. I called it! Yes! I told you! He never fails! He never fails! Here's Mitchell Snake! Yep. I'm expecting to be flooded with comments from all 6 viewers watching the stream telling me how big my brain is. I think I'm one of the 6 viewers as well. It's a virtual safety car. Everyone else is... Yeah, I mean, they're driving pretty normally. Do we have damage? We have power damage, and we have Roswell with damage. Do we have Hugo with damage? We don't have Hugo with damage. Right, VSC should be ending very shortly, I think. Probably about now, if I had to say. Everyone picking the speed up. Or not. Everyone's waiting. I think they were probably anticipating it to end a bit. I think Rad has slowed down just to get the launch for the VSC restart now. Oh, Johnny's going to drive through. Johnny's also up to P9. Won't be for much longer. So Rochwell has retired from the session. Probably not been the best Brazil experience. Luke's right up the chop of Iron as everyone is just kind of maintaining position at the moment. They'll be playing for DRS very shortly. AWS medium to hard or soft medium hard if you're a lunatic. Nah. Soft medium, hard medium, medium hard, pick one. Don't deviate. Any big winners off the race start? Johnny? No, he's not. He's got a drive-through. He would have been. He's up 7 places, but Habelski, I'd say, is the biggest winner as he's up 4 with no drive-through penalty. I think, yeah. Oh, no, he's not. I thought Johnny would serve that drive-through straight away because it could be another safety car. There's always a risk. He is. I was looking at the wrong car. I was looking at Luke. I'm terrible. Let's actually get this ugly menu off the screen. I'll figure it out. All good. That's one way to finish the season. Mitch, if you're watching the stream, pan back to just after the sprint had finished. Watch until you DNF, and you'll realise just how big my brain is. And then do what I tell you to do after you DNF'd. Ooh, Iron, I think, has just tapped the back of Grad a little bit there. It was a very light tap by the sounds of things. I don't think there'll be any damage. Coach's on the charge on the soft tyres. I missed that detail off the race start. He's up to P6 and the Red Bull will be making the most of those in the... against hard tyres. Probably the 8 laps that they're faster. So we just want to close onto the back of Cameron. He's within DRS, the big DRS train all the way down to Anson in P10. Everyone apart from Coates in the top 7 on hards, and you've got a few mediums, few hards, and then George quite far back. I think I got a note to say someone has left the session, but I don't know who it is. Iron keeping up with Grad here. He hasn't had to rely on using as much of the battery either. Got Coates. It's not Coates, it's Rudd going for a move on Ivanov. He sent it. Absolutely sent it on the Ferrari. And you know what? He's got that. Job done. Beautiful move from Lucas Rudd. Lead medium runner. See what? The track just looks so shiny from that camera angle. That being said, it is also very overcast. So let's hope for weather. It's gonna rain. Mitch has just said in the chat it is going to rain. Let's go. Sorry, I was reading the chat. And Mitch, don't feel depressed. That's the worst advice anyone can give. I'm going to rephrase. If you're feeling bad, don't worry about it. It's the season finale. Everyone has highlights. Everyone has not highlights. People make mistakes and people get things right. Feel depressed, it's fun. Adam, no. Just looking through the grid, pretty much everything has stayed the same for the last lap or so, and I think out of anyone who's going to make a move, it's going to be Coates. And sharpish, because the mediums won't be slower for much longer if they're slower now even. Mediums are great, to be fair. They're the best race tyre of the lot. Not going into the individual compounds or softnesses or anything, but I do like the mediums. If I could, I'd just go medium every single race. Stop on board with Coates as he pretty much pulled up to the back of Cameron and then stopped deploying. So let's hope he can stay close through the windy centre S's, and I think I see rain. I think I do see rain. There is rain. The track already doesn't look that great. This might be one of those magical it's full wets in 30 seconds. We'll have to stay observant here and see. This might be alright for Coates if it decides to stay wet-ish, because the softs are going to operate the best out of all the dry compounds. So I think he will just have a latent pace advantage, as he will have the most grip and the higher and most easy to manage tyre temps out of the lot. It doesn't look too bad at the moment. Coates still practically able to go flat through that left-hander there into Jun Sao. We'll see. Will he have any early gamblers? I don't think it's wet yet. DRS is still active. So it's just spitting with rain at the moment. There's some moist stuff. It's, Ivanov has got ahead of Anson. Anson actually lost quite a lot of time just on the straight there. Might be running a wet setup specifically for this. Lucas is quite nicely on the back of Cameron Don, and not that Grad's really getting away, but he's close to being out of DRS, and that might be a factor for much longer in this Grand Prix. Long way to go in this race as of yet, and everyone's still pretty close together. Could be anyone's game. Setups as well coming into play for the wet portion of the race. I'm assuming with hards being selected by a lot of drivers, the rain may have come earlier than planned. I still don't think it's time to box. It's barely raining at all. There will be less grip out there, but not enough to warrant the intermediate switch just yet. Track will definitely need glossing a lot more with rain, as it's still DRS conditions, so dry enough. Pukkinen is kept quite nicely with the top four, and Coates actually dropped off a bit, as I think the softs have seen their best at this point. You'll really be able to tell if Cameron Don's able to start closing in on the Red Bull. Rudd might close in on Cameron Don, to be honest. He's in the mega race so far. Considering it's F1 and Rudd is an F3 driver, pretty good. having a really good time. I think he's either line only or definitely no traction. Liam is boxed for intermediate tyres. I think he did have a spin. I don't think it's inters yet. I can understand Liam taking the gamble. It barely looks wet on track, to be honest. Grad's still taking that virtually flat, so it's just wet, dry track surface at the moment. Nothing new to report, really. It's so strange. Cameron's been passed by Lucas and Habelski there, so I think his heart's starting to show signs of weakness in these semi-wet conditions. It does put Rudd up to P6 though. It's only a couple of seconds off Coates in the Red Bull. However, Habelski's got something to say about that. Back down you go, son. P7 it is for you, mate. As he's dumped the battery. Teetering on the edge of having enough fuel by the looks of things as well. At least by the game standards, you won't use as much fuel in the wet conditions if it stays wet, and Liam is having a horrible time on those intermediate tyres, about to get lapped. Not quite as quickly as he did in the sprint race, but as an overall percentage it might be about the same as where he'd be in the sprint. Unfortunate, has to be said. He tried something different with the inters, but he's going to get gobbled up. He's only about 4 seconds ahead of the lead group, if that. Not ideal. Is it even raining anymore? Yeah. About as minimum rain as it could possibly be. This is very interesting though. I feel like the rain probably came earlier than a lot of drivers planned for, but then it hasn't actually really affected things whatsoever. It's just slightly less grip on track, full stop, that's it. Liam's pitted for softs off the intermediate tyres, so he's realised probably best to lose another 20 whatever it is seconds and be on the correct compound of tyre, because he lost even more than that just from spins, I think, unfortunately. Front four as they are once again, but there's a 4-second gap now down to Will Coates and the Red Bull as his softs have seen their best, and he's probably praying for it to absolutely chuck it down now. But nothing really doing on that one. Pass at a bit of a spincident. I'm going to call it a spincident from now on. That's my terminology. If anyone else calls it a spincident, then I have done something. As Anson is, to quote a former Mercedes driver, just cutting some grass here. I can't tell if it's getting any wetter. Mistakes are starting to creep in. Speaking of, good timing. Thanks, George. PayPal you later for that one. Still DRS active, so it really can't be that much wetter. It might just be very, very, very slowly getting to a point where inters are quicker, and if it does that for the whole time, then there isn't really going to be much of a tyre crossover. George has cooked his mediums. I think he's actually just doing donuts now. Or potentially could have been beached. I think he's going for disqualification here, to be honest. I think he was just deliberately doing donuts at that point. He just given up. He also played Football Manager with the boys. Yeah, he's out of there very quickly. Looks quite close to the back of Iron, and then Pucken is quite close to the back of Luke. Will we actually see any moves? It's not getting anywhere. It really isn't. I just think the lack of grip or the tyre drop-offs or whatever it is for just having good tyre performance is just completely different on a wet, dry track surface. Let's use a broadcast camera for a bit. So we've been using car cams quite a lot. We've got this lead pack here, then this lead pack. Coates are starting to be completely swallowed by the rest of the pack. He will want to long those softs out for as long as he can. Because if he pits for anything else, and then 2-3 laps later it goes wet, he'll be fuming. Sat in P12. Johnny's currently P12. Hugo's going for a dive on Anson. Anson leaves in the space and runs off track for additional benefit. DRS disabled. I think it's crossover time now. Will Hugo send it? Not quite. Johnny's just behind, just thinking, lads, please. It's going to be a bit of a scrap, so you can get lead position with pit stops here. Will anyone get jumped as well? Hugo's been mugged. I don't know about jumped. There's a there's a bit very weird love tap. Front four are all in. Babelski here. What's he doing? Staying out for an extra lap on the mediums. Lucas doing the same. DRS disabled does normally mean tyre crossover time. At least mediums might still feel quite good. The other issue is normally when the DRS gets disabled, the track is instantly wet. Or there's an outside chance. So I think Wong's going for a move on Johnny's going for a move on Anson, I think. There's an outside chance that it might quickly progress from into full wets. May as well gamble. Why not? So Habelski leads from Rudd. They haven't boxed yet, and I'm looking at the gap between Ivanov and Grad at the moment. It's not closing massively. Rain is still somewhat falling. I really want to see DRS enabled pop up on my screen. Grad's only gained a couple of attempts in the middle sector, and Ivanov is round. Unfortunate there. So there is definitely a lack of grip, but it's not huge. Habelski's in. Lucas, alternate strategy, staying out. As Liam is minus a front wing on the soft tyres. You know what? I really hope this plan succeeds for Lucas. Where does Habelski come out in all of this? He was a good number of seconds behind the rest of the pack. I only pitted the lap prior, who I also think... No, Ian was just part of that front four, but Ian's lost some time there, and that's he's now got Anson in front of him to deal with. I really hope that it does go back to dry, and Lucas gets to keep his lead. Because, just to entertain the idea, not a bad time to pit for hard tyres if it does go back. He can pit whenever he wants. Everyone else has to then pit. Liam has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits and understandably retires from the session, as he would go, I believe, if not 2 laps down, very close to 2 laps down. He'd be getting blue flagged. Ivanov at this point really struggling on his hard tyres. I think mediums are definitely better for just just raw performance. Cameron's got a penalty for speeding into the pits, and Lucas has also joined the pit lane crew onto intermediates as well, so they will have fresher inters. Will they have actually gained any time on their competitions? The track surface still looks pretty dry, to be honest. This is like minimum spec inters here, to be honest. They are probably only a bit faster than the dries, but they will be more consistent and easier to keep the heat in. They're all getting a bit squirrely off the exits. These might be dry setups running in the wet, so it might be a bit of a challenge. And yeah, Iron's really struggling for some reason. Maybe he just doesn't like driving in the wet. I don't know. That might be it. He might just hate Brazil as well. I don't know. Absolutely no clue. I mean, out of all of this, no one's really gained or lost any time on anyone. Cameron's on mediums. Now, it will be interesting to see if that was deliberate. Because if he's able to not bleed that much time and it's going to get dry again, which to be fair, it's never really got particularly wet, then he might be one to look out for. I know he's got a penalty. You never know. I mean, Anson's still out on the mediums. Still not boxing. So he's gambling on the idea that it's going to be dry again. And it really isn't particularly wet. Let's be fair. I've said it enough and I'm going to keep saying it. So it really isn't. Belski will close and overtake his teammate. I don't think Anson's have really put any resistance up for that. Cameron did make a mistake by the looks of things, as he's now pitted onto intermediates. It's unfortunate. I might have just stayed out in the mediums, to be honest, until it gets really bad. Ivanov's round again. Oh, that's the damage front wing, and he might have reset the track. I did see that icon flick a bit. God knows. Oh, Luke's trying to back a Grad here. I've ignored the front again. Nothing has happened though. I mean, Iron's just dropped off the back of everyone else. It's a bit uncharacteristic, really. But Luke really seems pretty well on the back of Grad. But let's see how their top end speed is. Grad is deploying. Luke's deploying. What's the difference? Grad's still deploying. Luke's had to redeploy. Up the inside though. Can he make it stick on the Mercedes driver? Not quite. Giving each other the room, but Grad just muscles his way back past. Luke going for it again, but he's got Pukkanen to worry about behind, who is deploying. He's decided not to anymore, as they are just going to maintain position. At least for now. Track does look a teeny bit more wet now. Not really. Trying to see if there's any water like in the little the ridges of the curbs or anything like that, but oh hello. No, it is wetter. The textures have updated on the track. Just the offline moisture has appeared. It is now, as I would declare, Inter's conditions. Unless you're Anson. He's on hard. Oh, that can't feel nice to drive. That's a half-second loss, if not more, just through a corner. Yeah, he's on the wrong tyres. It is full intermediates conditions now, as we've got action up front. Formation staying the same though, as Pukkanen is putting Mills under pressure here. Mills with the least battery of the three. Grad's had to deploy quite a bit out front, to be fair. Pukkanen, I can't say he's overly phased at the moment. And if Pukkanen is perceptive enough, he'll see that the light on the back of Luke's Williams is flickering that little bit quicker than if it was just wet conditions. I think it flickers faster if you go below 10%. That's how you can tell. As Ivanov's about to get lapped and he's cutting some grass. Right. Ooh. People really struggling. Big time. Nothing really happening, to be honest. Ivanov is fully given up. There it is. So yeah, no more points for him this season. Unfortunately, one more driver retires and we get everyone gets points here. If Anson pits, then he'll be last, but doesn't look like he's really giving up. He's lost so much time. I appreciate the ballsy alternate strategy. You can tell now it's just full Inter's conditions, prime Inter's conditions. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I mean, nothing's really happening, nor is it realistically going to happen. Iron's managed to stabilise the gap now to about 5 seconds. Could be due to the front three sort of fighting, could be due to it actually being full intermediate conditions now. Iron may just have struggled on the wet dry aspect of it. Or he might be running a bit more of a slippery setup in a straight line and he's been struggling in Sector 2, I don't really know. Or again, he could just hate driving in the wet or hate Brazil. Could be anything. See, I'm looking at these 5/10 gap and thinking, oh great, someone's going to overtake someone into the first corner, but there's just nothing doing with no DRS. Still 16 laps to go, and who knows, it might get more wet or it might dry up again. since saying that Iron had been closing the gap, he's lost about 7/10, unfortunately, as we've got Hugo round, I believe, in the middle sector. He's going to have to be careful pretty soon. He's only about 15 seconds, 20 seconds up the road. About 15, I'd say, from the leaders, so another spin with blue flags. I'm looking at these conditions. I know there isn't as much action in wet conditions with no DRS, but I absolutely love driving into these conditions, and this is just picture perfect. I'd take this over a dry track any day. Absolutely lovely. And Rudd's right on the back of Fabelski here. Nearly tapping him through the corner, so Rudd might be making a move here on Fabelski. Fabelski's deploying. I think Rudd will probably realise it's not worth it. The move's not viable. Try again later. Iron's gap is weird because he hasn't lost any time this lap. I think he might just be inconsistent in the wets, to be honest. Luke getting a bit of a wobble, but doesn't really mean anything. So we join our front three again. The front three Iron and then the next three. Although Fabelski is trying to get away. By the looks of things, Rudd's just not had the tidiest lap out there. Well, I get the feeling Rudd's strong in the middle sector. And Fabelski's strong everywhere else. I think a lot of drivers are probably still finding their groove, figuring out just how much they can push the car around the wets, as well as Iron's got a 3-second penalty for track limits. Unfortunate, but I suppose it happens. That's what I like about league racing. Your front 7 drivers are all different teams. It's nice to see the diversity, that's for sure. And I'm really stuck on things to talk about. I should have prepared a quiz. Not fun at all. It's been pretty slow 2 laps since I last checked the lap count. I'm sad to see that it's not lap 36, to be honest. I think we need the boys to breathe a breath of fresh air into this race. Start going for some cheeky dives. Just the issue with everything really is so hard to get close. And especially in the wets, it's so hard to get close enough to make a realistic move. Rudd is right on the back of Fabelski here. Fabelski deploying as well. Rudd should just fully send it, to be honest. He's not going to get many better chances than that, but he's choosing not to. Rudd, ever the reserved, controlled driver, wants to make sure that any move that he goes for is nice and clean. They're about as risk free as I can. Anson's still out on the hards. I've just realised he's now getting lapped and he's letting everyone through. I'm interested now to see just how much time Anson's lost and we'll lose just from committing to a drive strategy. It'll probably be a good couple of minutes realistically. Johnny's caught the back of this group. This is the breath of life we need. After serving his drive-through penalty, he's actually only about 15-16 seconds off the lead. Great pace, and he's pushing the car as well. Anson having a spin. Understandable. Johnny really wrestling his car. He's putting absolutely everything into this. I think he will just go straight for a move on Will. Let's hope so. Sends it down the inside. Meets the apex. Oh, she's done it! There's been a move in the wets! Wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. Answer's now pitted for full wets. It's not full wets, I don't think. Doesn't look it. Normally there's puddles littered all over the track. And Johnny, actually, I've just realised, really does need to push. Lucas has gone a bit deep there. Johnny will definitely have a look up the inside. Wouldn't really be able to get anything done though. So it'd be the outside next for him. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, as I was saying, Johnny really does need to make a move, because Luke's in contention for a race win here. And even in P2 and Johnny in P7, until Johnny gets P6, Luke in a live standing situation is ahead. And now he isn't. A little love tap from Lucas there. Nothing major. Now from a live championship standing, Johnny's back ahead. What will be interesting though, although I think, looking at it, Johnny will win on countback. I don't know if the league does P2s or podiums after they count wins if the wins are equal, but yeah, Johnny currently 3 wins, Luke currently 2. They can tie if Luke wins this race, but then I think Johnny's at the next highest amount of results after wins, so I think on that prospect he'd take the P2 that way. What was I looking for? Fastest lap. Who's got it at the moment? Iron does with the 1:10.9, so that won't be challenged. No fastest lap to worry about for the Williams boys. Just been on board with Johnny, see if he can get anything done on Abelski. I think he's just going to ease onto the back of him. Abelski does have the battery advantage here. Coates getting very close to Lucas. Nothing being done at the moment. Anson's now on softs. I think McLaren have only turned up with wet tyre compounds for one half of the garage. Anson's have been left at home. I mean, I'm impressed he's just the 1 lap down, to be quite honest. This doesn't look very fun to drive. As everyone else in the field now has put a lap on the McLaren driver. Unfortunate. I just want to see how bad it is actually. Let's see him go through here. Oh, it's horrid. How cold are his tyres? They're in the 70s. Yeesh. I mean, this is his out lap, I guess. 75 degrees soft. Is he ever going to be able to go full throttle? Here he is. And he's in the pits. Crikey. Maybe he just doesn't have any indication of whether maybe he's strive for him. He's just testing which compound's going to work. He's found the intermediates. Sensational. He's got Hugo off the track, rejoining. Not ideal for the Red Bull driver. Right then. Gerard's starting to pull away from Luke here, and still has the advantage of battery. Gerard really just trying to put a distance between these two now, so Luke and Pukkanen can fight. How's Johnny doing? He's recharged quite nicely. Habelski getting all sorts of issues out of the final corner exit, and that will be Johnny up to P5. He's got his favourite sparring partner Up next, quite a long distance down the road. Johnny's going somewhat defensive on Habelski. Habelski really was trying to get a move done on Johnny there, but I don't get the feeling Johnny will get within striking distance of Iron. But he's only got to find 3.5 seconds to get the position anyway, because Iron's got that 3-second penalty for track limit infringements. That's it. To be honest, nothing's happening. I'm trying my best. It's all calming down quite a bit as Hugo's let everyone through. And completely unrelated, has decided to do it while facing backwards. Good news for Hugo though, if he wants a point. Anson's just retired in the pits, so Hugo can do the same thing. And Cameron, if he wants to do the same thing, then he can as well, because he's 41 seconds off the lead. Still on the lead lap though, so if there's a safety car there is a chance for Cameron, but there isn't for Hugo. Oh. There really isn't for Hugo, unfortunately. That's a lot of mistakes. I don't know if 94 degrees is hot for intermediate tyres, but there might be some other issues going on for Hugo. It's just a little bit uncharacteristic, to be honest. Maybe no force feedback, I don't know. Something seems a bit amiss. It could be skill. I thought Abelski had gone there, but I forget the game just kind of pukes the car into the runoff at turn 4. And the drivers trying their best to emulate it. I don't know what's going on. It just seems like a bit too many mistakes for Hugo. I think his tyres are just cooked. It's either that or he's got rear wing damage somewhere from a spin. I don't like it when the car goes and you can see the strange player model. It looks bad. I reckon Hugo will put it in the pits and retire. Lap 33, and probably end of lap 32, I reckon, will be generous enough to give him a point just for sticking with it. It looks... I mean, the tyres are in the 80s, that's pretty fine. Telemetry's alright. I think he's got rear wing damage, to be honest. I don't know how long he's been nursing that, if he has. But, yeah, I mean, it's not even Hugo's driving, it's just the vehicle not behaving itself. He's being so careful on the throttle as well, and he is a very good driver. The car's just not having it, unless it's set up, which it could be. He might have gone for a very slippery setup, but I feel like you could manage a slippery setup better than everything else. Damage is a lot harder to manage. It's a big difference, and you just get it randomly in a race. You have to change your whole driving style. So I found out yesterday with the rear wing damage, but I did then just reverse into a wall, so that was on me. I hope the stream didn't catch it. Coates is on the back of Lucas, and I think he has been for quite a while, to be honest, just trying to find a way past. So difficult in the wets. You'd be inclined to believe that Coates' pace at this stage of the race is better than Lucas's if he's on the back of him that often. You have to be so much faster to be able to get a move done in the wet. So much faster, or just so much more slippery in a straight line. Or Lucas might make a mistake. I hope he doesn't. Really good drive in P7 at the moment. Showing us why he is the F3 champion. It's not too far off Abelski either, to be fair. Johnny's right up getting to the close of Iron. Ooh, catches the car there, to be fair. I think Johnny will be within striking distance of Iron before this race is over. I am just straight on having a good time. Ever since it changed to wets. Clearly not his favourite way to drive, the wet weather not suiting him as much today. Unfortunately, he's now dropped 13.5 seconds off the lead group. They're just chilling. I think it'll be recharge agenda for a lot of these guys now. See if they can make a big, heavy committed move in the dying laps of the race. So we are about to go on to lap 33. Hugo's now sped into the pits and retired. So yeah, I mean the race is at 32 laps. Going on to 33, he would have done 31, but going on to 32. Give him the point. He's had to suffer with that. I'm interested to know what's gone on in that respect. It's not a skill issue. The car looked volatile as all hell. And I'm gonna put my money on damage. I won't know, unfortunately, unless I get told. If we get a sudden Hugo appearance. Just a skill issue from Hugo. Adam, there were like 10. Hugo doesn't make 10 skill issues. Also, we need to start saying spincident. I think that's cool. I just realised in saying that I think that's cool that no one is ever going to call anything that other than me. It's fine. Who's close? Johnny's getting quite close to Ryan here. Let's see, just able to get the car hooked up in every corner. If he does hashtag Hugo washed. I mean, I'll agree with that if that's what's actually happened and he has actually just made that many mistakes, but the car didn't look like it was really agreeing with being driven. The gap's really opened up at the front. Everyone's been deploying too. Strange. I was expecting to see Gerard having like no battery and everyone else harvesting, but that's not the case. I think Gerard's just decided to push, and then Luke's like, oh god, he's pushing, I've got to, and then Puckinen's doing the same thing, and now they realise they've not actually been driving it the quickest. Johnny v Iron then, unless Coates is getting past Lucas. No, he's not. Johnny v Iron. Johnny V staying on the track, almost loses it. So we just have to close up to the back of Iron again. Iron really hasn't been racing anyone, and because of that he's got a hell of a lot of battery to deploy. Johnny's still got quite a bit, to be fair, as well. I think this will be the only interesting thing to watch other than maybe Coates on Rudd. See what exits these guys get. Whoa! I was hoping to see something like that, to be honest. They are now both deploying. This is going to be a very interesting one. Going down the main straight. 2 laps to go for these guys here. Johnny challenging around the outside of Iron, giving him the space, keeping the car in front. Johnny trying a switchback and just trying to get through. He knows his exits are better. He is right on the back of Iron in the Ferrari here. Iron giving Johnny space on the outside, so he wants to defend the inside straight away as Coates' corner cut. He's going to have to give Lucas a position, and he has done, I've just seen on the map. So Coates having a whoopsie. That's a whoopsie there. Johnny demonstrating exactly what one of those is, but thankfully keeping everything pointing the right way. Iron with 8% more battery to use going into the final lap. So I think we're just going to see a repeat of what we saw, as long as Johnny stays close. I think Iron will make that much of a mistake coming out of the final real corner. Junsao. I had to remember when it was. Yeah, Grad's really just stretched his legs at the front. Luke hasn't really been able to keep directly with him, and Puckinen is Iron. You had one job. Nah, it wasn't as big of a mistake this time, but it was a mistake nonetheless. Might be a TT dry setup, you never know. But, Iron, despite the issues on the corner exit, still staying ahead of Johnny, I think just through sheer straight line speed. Iron's not even deploying, and with Slipstream, Johnny is barely pulling up to him. It will just be a drag race for everyone coming up to the line now. Coates still wants to go for a move on Lucas. Trying to keep an eye on two things here. Johnny really trying to just get as close to Iron as he can. It will just be a run to the line. Whoa! Ooh. Jesus. What a driver, catching all of these moments. I think this will just give Iron the security to... I've missed Grad win! Thomas Grad taking an absolute... Well, I wouldn't call it dominance, he was only a second and a half ahead, but he took a very convincing victory over Luke Mills in P2, got Pukkinen in P3, and Iron on track beating Johnny to the line, with Johnny getting P4 as Williams being billed about $2 million in damages. Habelski gets P6. Rudd holds off Coates by a couple attempts on track for P7. Coates gets P8. Cameron Don. Well, he stayed until the end. Things didn't quite go his way this race, but he stayed for the entire duration of the race. We'll get a couple of points at the end of the season. Probably hoped there'd be a safety car or something to buy him back into this race, but he didn't get that. He is now going to come to the line just to finish it off. There we go. And that is season over. Just like that. And the 12-week-long blink that we had, it is gone. Season 3, done. Bosh. Bossed it. Oh. Alright. Pretty much every race was Johnny versus Iron, to be honest. But yeah, I think when championships started coming under threat and we introduced some new drivers at the very end of the season, the pecking order got shook up a fair bit. So just to reaffirm what I said already, Guard taking the sprint win and the race win. So yeah, you know what, it was dominant. 33 points for him. Latecomer in the season, but a very, very good driver indeed. Mills P2, P2. Pukkinen P4, P3. Iron P3, P4, 5. Oh yeah, because it orders things differently because of the sprint. Johnny got P4 in the race. You know what, just read them yourselves, they're there. Ivanov did get 2 points for the sprint, so that's good. Lovely. Love it. I got the fastest lap as well. Cool. There we go. Well, that is season done. I might see if any drivers want to come in for interviews. Let anyone in, it's the final season. Gotta send it off. Hello, Luke. Season over, and you nearly beat your teammates to P2.
Almost at the end
Almost.
there, yeah.
How did he feel when he got his drive-through?
Yeah, I don't know. I already pay attention to anyone that race. I was just enjoying the pace at the front. It was really good.
It did seem very competitive between yourself, Grad, and Pukkinen, and Iron, to be fair, in the dry. It very much seemed in the last few laps that Grad may have upped his pace a bit, and everyone was just trying to keep up.
Fair play, he is ridiculously quick. I'm shocked at my own pace in the Inters. I used to be awful in wet conditions, but something recently has clicked, and I've just gained that bit extra pace which I didn't have before. And yeah, I was fair play to Thomas. Yeah, he's mega quick.
Very quick. And his mate as well, who joined us in Mexico, is very quick. Not that we got to see too much of that. That'd be interesting if they sign up for next season. Yeah, everyone's going to be very competitive.
Very good.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, as you've said yourself, you know, that extra bit clicking in the wet, that will only help keep you at the pointy end next season as well. That's for sure. Yeah. Absolutely lovely stuff. So we've got Habelski in the call as well. I'll move on to you. How was your race? What was it?
In general, quite good. Maybe not the best pace, but at least I managed to keep the car on track. I'm pretty satisfied. I know guys in front were just quicker than me, and that's it. A bit a shame the rain came out. I think on the slicks I got better pace, but it is what it is. That's racing.
That is very true, and I mean, considering you joined us at the start of the season as an F3 driver for a race, and then you got bumped up to F2, and you've had some pretty good results in there, including your race win yesterday. Finishing P6 in F1 really isn't that bad at all.
Yeah. As I said before, I'm quite happy with this result. Could be better, but could be worse. So I'm pretty satisfied.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely puts you on the front foot for next season as well. If you join us, then of course, you know, you've had some good results recently. All momentum at the end of the day. We've only got a month until the season kicks off, I think, for season 4. So not too long of a turnaround, and it will be the same game and everything too. So yeah, best of luck to you.
Exactly. See you next season.
See you next season as well. Look forward to it. I do see that we've got Quill in here as well. Have you come to say anything about the season or anything, or are you just come to populate the channel?
Anyone could come for an interview, so I've done that. From a very, very echoey room in Centre Parks.
Ah, that's why you can race. I haven't got the absences thing for F1, so I didn't see why you weren't here. But that makes sense. How's Centre Parks?
The bed's not as nice as the one at my house.
That's never ideal.
I think even if I had my sim rig, I would have fallen asleep at the wheel or something.
Do you feel like the Centre Parks bed could have affected your performance if you raced today?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Also, I'm like 10 seconds a lap slower on controller.
So that's just not good enough. I mean, I'm the same on wheel, to be fair. So, yeah, it's not the easiest, and I'll always respect people who go from one to the other. But yeah, I mean, wow, what a season, eh? It's a good moments for sure. I've seen the shorts be uploaded on the channel. If you do want to edit one, Luke, when you watch the race back, look at my prediction at the end of the sprint about a certain goat and a certain prediction of an incident that happened on lap 1. Go to commentary. Absolutely go to commentary. But yeah, I think we'll end things off here and end off season 3. Thank you very much everyone for joining and supporting the league. It's been great to see it grow in the time that I've been here. And yeah, sign-ups, as you know. There'll be links and stuff in the Discord and the channel description and things like that. If you want to join the league, join the Discord. You find all the information in there if you want to support the league. Subscribe to the channel. Join the Discord anyway, even if you don't want to drive, and we'll see you all in a few weeks.